Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all come on in to your Midday Rhema with Trish. I hope everyone is having a fabulous start to your Wednesday. Just wake up believing God for amazing things. Tune in. Make sure you share. Turn your notifications on because I'm going live 2 to 3 times out of the week. For about 5 minutes. I try to keep it to 5 minutes. This is Midday Rhema, a Rhema word of what God has given me to share with everyone that tunes in. So giving you a few minutes to join me. I have something that I want to share that happened to me this morning. And as I was getting up this morning, there's this water bottle, and I'll show you the water bottle. This is my water bottle, my water jug, right? So this is a gallon water jug. And as I was filling my water jug up this morning, I take about 4 bottles of water to fill this up when I go to the gym. This is what I drink out of instead of, going back and forth, getting waters and stuff like that. So as I was filling up this water jug, I took my first bottle. I'm pouring in the water. And as I was pouring in the water, I looked over because my son or my daughter, I can't remember, was going into the pantry. And so I looked away just for a second, and then I heard the Spirit say, stay focused, because if you don't, it can make a mess and the water will spill over and you will have a mess everywhere. I literally heard that this morning, to stay focused, because here's the thing. This was my goal. My goal is this right here. My goal was to fill the water jug up. And then my son or daughter, somebody close to me, watch this, came along, and I took my eyes off of what my goal was for that moment. I took my eyes off, and I immediately heard the Spirit say, stay focused. Now, I said all of that to say this, that sometimes, a lot of times when we're on this journey, when God has us going in a direction, we have to make sure that we are focused on what it is that God has put in us to do. Your focus could be writing a book, starting a business, starting a ministry, focusing on your marriage, focusing on your children, focusing on your spirit. This is where God has given us a focus. And he's saying, because something familiar comes along, we take our eyes off the focus. And let me give you the scripture. The scripture I found was in Proverbs 4:25. Listen carefully. Proverbs 4:25 says, let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. I'm telling you, the enemy is on assignment in this season to steal your gaze. I'm going to say that again. He is on assignment to steal your gaze, steal your focus, steal your steadfastness, steal your determination. How does he steal it? Well, I just mentioned I was filling this gallon of water up, and who came along? It was somebody close to me. It was somebody that I knew. It was my son, my daughter. One of them was going in the pantry, and my eyes got unfocused. I began to look away from what my goal was, what my accomplishment was. This is what the enemy is doing in this season. Be prepared, because God has you on a mission. He has you on a journey, and he's going to bring people, familiar spirits, watch this, to intervene, to get you off track. Now, does that mean that these people or these things are evil? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil. What it does mean is that they could be used to get you off track of where God is taking you. You got to understand, when God says get in position, get in position. When God says begin to write the book, write the book. When God says do this, whatever it is, begin to do it. Take the steps. I'm not saying it's going to all of a sudden manifest, but there is a process. The process will take you to your goal. But if you take your eyes off the process, because the journey is too long, because the journey requires too much, if you take your eyes off the process, then you'll never get to the goal. You have to embrace the process. Matter of fact, focus. That's the key word for today. Focus on the process. Now, mind you, in the process, you might have to go to the pit before you go to the palace, just like Joseph. In the process, you might go broke before you become the millionaire. In the process, you might lose your job before you start this next dynamic business. But it's in the process. The Lord is saying that you have to focus on the process and not take your eyes off the process because something happened to you along the way, because somebody close to you came along the way, because you got distracted along the way. Again, focus, because you may have to go to the pit, but even in the pit, you got to be focused before you can go to the palace. Now watch this. Even when Joseph went to the palace, it was still a form of bondage for him, because in the palace, there were things that came at him, or people, Potiphar's wife, came at him to distract him. Even though he was called, even though he was favored, even though he was chosen, there was something that came at him to try to make him lose his focus. So I just want to encourage someone today. Whatever it is that God put in you to do, you got to be like Nike and do it. Don't take your eyes off the promise. Keep the promise before you. Keep the promise before you and make sure you remain steadfast and diligent and pursue your destiny. Focus, people of God. Focus. Okay? So that's your midday Rhema word for the day, is focus on the goal. Focus on the promise. Do what you gotta do to get to where God is leading you. Don't let the enemy distract you by using familiar spirits and familiar situations. Don't let him do it. Be smarter than what he is. You gotta know the game, and you gotta play it harder than he's playing. You gotta play it better than he's playing. You are the real MVP, not those demons that are coming at you to distract you. You're the real deal. Remember that. All right. I hope everybody have a blessed day. And I hope this midday Rhema word blessed you in some kind of way. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.